All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thank you all so much for joining us today. We're really glad to have you, and we're excited for today's presentation. So before we kick things off, I'm going to run through some introductions and a couple other items, housekeeping items for you. So my name's Kayla, and I'm here representing the Acelab team, and we have Sharon and Randy here from Lions Floor. And before I pass it over to them, let me just quickly take you all over to Acelab so you can take a look at Lions Floor's page here. So in just a moment, you should be able to see my screen. So if you're not already familiar, Acelab, a great place to start when you're looking to do some research is the search bar at the top of the screen. So we've got a few different categories here. You can just do a general product search. You can use our new AI search, or in this case, you can filter for any specific manufacturer you're looking for. So here on Lions Floor's page, we've got some really great information for you. We've got contact information, as well as all of their products here for you to explore and learn more about. So you can click into any one of these products and learn more about that specific one. You can also click right here and you can actually save any of these products to your firm library. That way you and the rest of your team have access to that for future projects. So definitely check out their page when you have a moment. I'll drop this link in the chat, and yeah, I definitely recommend exploring more here at a later point. So a couple other things to be aware of. We will be doing Q&A at the end of this presentation, so we definitely encourage your questions. If you have any questions throughout the presentation, just click that Q&A box at the bottom of your screen. You can drop any of your questions there, and then at the very end, we'll get to as many of those as we can. We also will have a webinar poll that we'll be doing, so you'll see that pop up on your screen about 3/4 of the way through the presentation. If you're not interested in getting any kind of follow-up information, just click the X on that, it'll go away. However, if you are looking to get connected with Lions Floor's team and just to get some additional information, fill out the poll with exactly what you're looking for. And if you have any project details you'd like to share, feel free to put that there. And we will connect you with Lions Floor's team after the webinar through an Acelab conversation. So you'll just want to keep an eye on your inbox for that Acelab conversation, and then you can log into Acelab and continue the conversation from there. Also, we will be doing a post-webinar survey, so we greatly appreciate any feedback that you have for us. Feel free to leave that there. And last but not least, this is an AIA-approved presentation, so you will get credit for attending today. We already collected your numbers upon registration. However, if you're worried we didn't get your AIA number, I'm also going to be putting a form in the chat, so fill that out to make sure that you get credit for today's session. And that's everything from my end. So Randy and Sharon, I'll go ahead and pass it over to you to get us started.
Okay, thank you. All right, good morning and good afternoon, everybody. Welcome and thank you for joining today's AIA-accredited CEU presentation, Beyond the Surface, ROI and Lifecycle Cost Analysis and Resilient Flooring. This course is proudly brought to you by Lions Floor. We are a leading U.S. manufacturer of premium SPC, WPC, laminate, loose lay, as well as glue-down LVP flooring. We're trusted nationwide for its balance of design, durability, and long-term performance. My name is Randy McKellar. I'm the VP of Marketing for Lions Floor, and it's my pleasure to introduce our presenter today, Sharon Walker, who will be guiding you through the session and sharing valuable insights of how flooring selection impacts asset value, maintenance costs, and overall ROI. And with that, Sharon, take it away.
Thank you, Randy. Hello, everyone. Hope you're having a great day. So again, this is Beyond the Surface, and it talks about return on investment and life cycle cost analysis on resilient flooring. So the first thing we're going to look at is the key learning objectives we're going to talk about today. The life cycle cost, luxury vinyl versus carpet and hardwood and tile. We're going to look at maintenance costs over a 5 to 10 year period, real world case studies where you see tenant satisfaction and the cost savings of fewer replacements. understanding how resilient flooring selection impacts tenant turnover and unit downtime. So we're going to cover those 4 key objectives so you can better understand smarter specification choices moving forward. Next slide. So here's an example of worn carpet dumped somewhere versus modern SPC flooring. So flooring is typically one of the most expensive and frequently replaced surfaces in both residential and commercial properties. It's typically selected up front due to savings, cost savings. And what we're going to do today is challenge that thinking by focusing on, long-term performance, return on investment, and value creation. Next slide. So here's different flooring types in multifamily. A quick snapshot of what's typically used. So you can see where you have SPC, where you have an average lifespan of 10 to 15 years and a very low install cost or medium install cost, right? Maintenance is minimum. And of course, it's water resistant. And the tenants enjoy the flooring because it's less likely to soil and stain, right? WPC, also a 10 to 15 year average lifespan, low install costs, very low maintenance, water resistant, and again, very high tenant appeal. Carpet, on the other hand, much shorter lifespan, maybe half the lifespan. Install cost is low, but maintenance is very high. Poor water resistance. I'm not sure if that's very pertinent, but it sure will absorb coffee stains very easily. You have medium tenant appeal on that. Hardwood, also very expensive to install. You get a great lifespan out of it, but it is costly, and maintenance is rather on the high end, not water resistant, high tenant appeal. But you can see here where LVP, WPC, and SPC are going to give you a better return on your investment, just from a standpoint of initial cost versus long-term cost. You're going to get a better return when you're using a product that doesn't have to be replaced so frequently. Next slide. Okay, so here we're going to talk about wear layer application, and how different wear layers perform in different, or how wear layers affect performance, excuse me. So a 6 to 8 mil product is going to typically be used in very low traffic rentals, or I would call replacement work typically, right? A 12 mil product is like commercial multifamily units. A 20 mil is heavier traffic, maybe corridors or retail. And then a 28 plus mil product is more industrial, specialized use, heavy traffic, let's say airports, large malls, the main area of a mall where you're going to see heavy traffic. One thing to consider, though, is your wear layer affects your warranty. As a rule, you also have to consider maintenance on this, because if we're not maintaining the product, it doesn't matter how well the wear layer is constructed or how heavy the wear layer is, right? Again, another example is moderate traffic. You want to get a 12 mil, 20 mil, heavier traffic, very heavy traffic. You want to jump up to a 28 mil. Okay, next slide. So here we're going to talk about life cycle costs, and you can see where In the orange area, it indicates um, the initial cost or investment to put it in. And then the blue and the green represent maintenance and replacement costs, right? So um, if you start on the far right, the cost of putting in hardwood is very expensive. Maintenance is medium to high. Um, Tile is also relatively expensive to put in compared to the cost of, say, carpet. But at the end of the day, SPC, WPC, and LVP are typically going to give you a better cost life cycle because you're going to be able to put it in for a moderate amount and not have high maintenance on it, right? So again, the life cycle cost refers to the total cost of the flooring over time, not just the install price. Let's see, next slide. Okay, so here we're going to talk a little bit more about return on investments, benefits, total cost, right? So your flooring return on investment depends on a lot more than just the price. It involves the protected or gained value, such as faster turnover, reduced service calls, uh, minus the life cycle costs. In other words, flooring that performs better can increase your net operating income. Okay, here's an example of a 5-year cost comparison. Oh, did we move ahead on that? Did I skip that, Randy? Next slide.
You're good.
Okay, so here's a 5-year cost comparison. This model illustrates a story, a clear story. What seems affordable at install, like carpet, quickly becomes the most expensive due to repeat replacements and heavy maintenance. Tile offers, again, longevity, but comes with a very high install cost and rigid substrate requirements, right? So a perfect subfloor is going to be a requirement there. Luxury vinyl offers a smart balance. There's a lower cost overall, about a 5-year period, making them ideal for projects where you have high tenant turnover, rentals, and the flooring needs to be able to withstand some heavy traffic and not so much upkeep. Next slide. So this is about installation standards and acoustic considerations, which has become very important in high rises, multifamily applications where you have, tenants upstairs and below, whether you have, you know, somebody upstairs making a racket. There's become a bigger push for understanding IIC, STC, and these kind of things. So the AMC, oops, just a minute. So every particular builder will have certain standards that they're going to ask you to adhere to. ASTM International and the Resilient Floor Covering Institute provide standards for both installation and sound. They're also going to give you specific instructions on following ASTM standard for like preparing concrete. There's also relative humidity. So when you put your flooring in, you're adhering to all of those standards so you have a successful install. There's also specific standards for putting in SPC, WPC flooring. All of those will impact long-term performance. Like I said, multifamily has very specific IIC and STC sound ratings. Again, IIC will impact, noise that you drop, impact sound. So if you drop something versus STC is more about inside sound. So your voices, your television, and again, those standards minimums are going to be IIC 50, max and STC 50. Typically, builders are looking for something a little higher than that today in first class A properties. All right. Next slide. So here's maintenance and downtime. So maintenance isn't just about cleaning, it's about tenant satisfaction, operational efficiency. Every day a unit is down, it's costing somebody rent, right? So when it's not necessary to have the material replaced or cleaned, you're going to save money. So reduce service calls, fewer complaints, and quicker rework or turnover. Carpet tends to show wear very quickly, absorbs odors and stains, and tenants are not particularly happy when they walk into a unit or a location where you've got soiled flooring. Let's see, so that's something you don't typically see with an SPC or a WPC or most luxury vinyls. They're going to allow you to have fewer turnovers and fewer callbacks. Next slide. Oh, did I go the wrong way? Whoop. My bad. Forgive me. There we go. So here's some real world case studies for an urban multifamily property. This table captures the transformation one urban multifamily saw after switching from one property owner, the savings he saw when switching from carpet to SPC. Within about 3 years, they reduced their flooring service calls by 50%. So turnover time was cut from 6 to 2 days and dropped their annual flooring budget by about $60,000. So you can see where putting the right floor in is going to provide you a far better return on your investment. Next slide. Okay, so this talks a little bit about unit turnover. So we have the tenant moves out and there's an inspection. They usually paint first, hopefully, before they put in our flooring. They pull the flooring out and final cleaning and tenant moves in. So if the floor isn't damaged or dirty, which is more likely to not be the case when you're putting in a luxury vinyl that can be maintained, you're going to save time having somebody move in, and you're going to be able to immediately start prepping for the new person and thus end up helping your team move units faster. Next slide. Okay, so this talks a little bit about flooring and asset value. So appraisers do factor the flooring conditions and the type into their assessment, whether it's a home or it's a multifamily unit or a commercial property, especially income producing assets. This chart shows flooring upgrades don't just affect tenant experience, they impact hard dollars in resale, refinancing, leverage, and even asset branding. So high-end WPC and SPC will signal a well-maintained, low-maintenance property, typically more design forward, and will increase cap rate, compression, and include long-term equity performance. So this is something investors are even mindful of, right? Next slide. Okay, so this talks a little bit about specification strategy. And, whoop, just a minute. Your spec should go beyond just looks. You want to consider the wear layer, the warranty, any exclusions, what the expectation is from an acoustical performance standpoint, what your tenants are expecting. So resilient doesn't mean one size fits all, but selecting smartly gives you long-term flexibility and protection. Next slide. So we want to kind of recap this quickly. The comparing the life cycle cost of an SPC, WPC, or luxury vinyl versus carpet or hardwood and tile. Again, maintenance, the replacement cost over a 5 to 10 year period is really something people are looking at for far more carefully today. And we've examined real world case studies demonstrating improved tenant satisfaction and fewer replacements. And of course, understanding how flooring selections impact tenant turnover, unit downtime, and long-term asset value. So here, this gives you a little bit of information about the quiz that you'll receive. Whoop. To
No quiz.
receive your credits, I believe you'll need to score 80% or higher.
No quiz. No quiz.
Oh, there isn't going to be a quiz. Oh,
Correct.
okay. Okay, my mistake. Then I guess that wraps it up a little bit. Thank you very much from Lions Floors. And Kayla, did you want to open it up to questions?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Sharon. That was great. I just launched the poll as well. So again, fill that out if you're looking to get some follow-up information after the webinar and be connected directly with Randy and Sharon's team. But yeah, let's jump into some questions. All right. So first things first, what lead times should we expect for larger commercial orders?
Well, we are extremely well stocked as far as inventory goes. When you say large commercial orders, are you talking, let's say 20,000, 50,000 square feet, or are you talking 200,000 square feet? Because depending on the project size, 20,000 square feet to 100,000 square feet, we could probably service that in the amount of time you could install it. We have 6 distribution centers across the country. So I would say we could most likely provide it in the time your folks could install it, given a reasonable amount of time. And we also are capable of doing direct ships from the factory.
Okay. Yeah, I think that answers that. Thank you. Yeah, I'm not sure specifically what, but yeah, maybe we can get more details on that later on from that person. But that's perfect. Thank you. All right. Next question we have is, can your products be installed over existing flooring and under what conditions?
So yes, some of them, a floating floor, you could put over some existing flooring, right? But those are going to be determined in the installation instructions. So, for example, if you think of a big square tile with big grout, you would want to level that floor likely first, right? And then install your loose layer or your click product over that. If the floor is relatively level and already intact, you could do a click floor over it, but the requirements of installation are going to be very specific. So every job is going to be unique.
Perfect. Thank you for that. All right. And next up we have, How do your products perform in terms of sound transmission?
Okay, good question. They're all different, and each product, so sound testing is kind of a tricky animal. When a product is tested for sound, whether it's IIC, STC, or now they're testing for HIIC, which is
Mhm.
basically high impact insulation class. It depends on the assembly of the floor. So if you have an 8-inch concrete floor and a drop ceiling, if that's the test, you're going to get this result over here. If you have a different floor ceiling assembly, like an 18-inch open web truss, you're going to get a different rating. So they perform industry standard wise. We have a variety of constructions. So we have everything from what we would call an entry level SPC all the way up to a premium WPC. So your sound ratings are going to start at, the minimums all the way up to very significant, depending on the build of the product. So a 5 millimeter product with a 1 millimeter IXPE back on it is going to get a minimum rating or a moderate rating. And then if you had a 6 or a 7 mil product with a 2 millimeter attached IXPE pad, you're going to see a much higher rating. And again, everything is contingent upon the assembly.
Mhm. Okay, yeah, I think that's perfect. Thank you for that. And I think that's our last question for now. Would you guys like to wrap us up with any final notes or comments for everyone?
Well, I
Sure,
would
I can
just,
go
you
ahead.
go first, Randy.
Well, I was going to thank everyone for joining today. Just on the behalf of Lions Floor, we truly appreciate your time and engagement with this CEU presentation. We definitely hope it gave you a deeper understanding of how resilient flooring can deliver long-term value and performance in your multifamily and commercial projects. A special shout out and thank you to Sharon for leading today's session and to all of you for participating. And again, if you have any questions or comments or you'd like to learn more about Lions Floor products, please don't hesitate to reach out. We'd love to connect after this presentation.
And I would say thank you to everyone as well. I appreciate your time. I'm confident that we have a great brand and we also have a terrific selection of styles and constructions. And as I mentioned, we're 6 DCs across the country, so we can service a lot of projects and exceed your design and budget expectations.
And
Amazing.
lastly, just feel free to, our website's lionsfloor.com. Feel free to cruise on by and check out our wide product lineup for you guys. And we have some very exciting launches coming up at the Surfaces TISE show. And we hope to see you there and stop by our booth and say hello.
Awesome. Wonderful. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for that. And yeah, I've dropped the Acelab page in the chat so you can use that page. And then if you scroll all the way to the bottom, you'll see a link to Lions Floor's website as well. And yeah, so thank you, Sharon and Randy. I think that was a really great presentation. Thank you everyone for joining. As a reminder, if you filled out the poll, we will be reaching out to you. You'll just keep an eye on your inbox over the next couple of days for an email from noreply@acelabusa.com. That's your email notification to connect you with the Lions Floor team in Acelab. So you can click right through that email notification or just log into your Acelab account. And then in that conversation with them, you can ask any further questions, discuss a specific project, anything like that. So it's a great opportunity to get some further insights. So yes, thank you again, everyone. We hope you all enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks
Okay,
again.
thank
Bye.
you.